Hello everyone, how the hell are we? It is Tuesday night, it is the late night agenda, and I'm back in the hot seat. Well, I was back last night, but I think a lot of people didn't get the notification for it, but I am here tonight and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into what is quite a lot of Liverpool news actually over the past 24 hours now. When I say Liverpool news, don't be expecting mad transfer news, because we know that doesn't seem to be on the agenda for this transfer window, but there is still lots and lots of stuff to get through nonetheless. As always, ladies and gents, before I start tonight's stream, I hope life is treating you all well. Hope the sun's shining, the birds are singing, and all your lives are really good. As always, I do have a few notes, but this is your show. You let me know the topics you want to talk about, Liverpool related or non-Liverpool related. Obviously, we're a Liverpool fan channel, so we're going to push the Liverpool agenda on here, but we do welcome fans from every club. How are we? Anyway, let's get started. Hello to everybody that's saying hello. I'm so fucking happy to be back on, I have to say. As much as I love the family, and they're nice people generally most of the time, but I did miss coming on over the past week and chatting with everybody, so happy to be back. Feel fully refreshed, ready to go. Looking forward to the game tomorrow against Lyon. Looking forward to, I suppose, the league technically, not the league, the season technically starting on Sunday when we face Manchester City in the Community Shields. I still call it the Charity Shield, but it's Community Shield these days, isn't it? Anyway, how are we? Good evening to you, Mr. Crosby. How are we, sir? Right, let's get stuck into it. Quick little bit of an update, I suppose, just on the training squad that travelled over to Evian this week with the Reds. So the squad was confirmed, everybody was there today. Trent was there, Alisson, Ryan Brewster, Bobby Duncan, Elliott, Fabinho, Firmino, Joe Gomez, Hendo, Keanu Hoover, Naby Keita, Adam Lallana, Larouci, Adam Lewis, Lonergan, Lovren, Matip, Mignolet, Milner, Origi, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Robertson, Salah, Shaqiri, Vandenberg, Virgil van Dijk, Gini Wijnaldum and Harry Wilson are the people that travelled over to that training camp in Evian this week. Jurgen Klopp is going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat, if we're being quite frank, because it hasn't been a great pre-season. Now, I don't really give a shit about pre-season other than getting players ready. But Jurgen Klopp did say that this was the week that he hoped to really get a lot of work done, fine-tune things and get players ready. We know Jurgen Klopp often puts in double and treble sessions during his pre-seasons, and with this being a bit of a condensed pre-season, you've probably seen a lot of fatigue in the players in the pre-season games because they've been training on the day of the games at some time. Ella, how are you, my friend? Welcome in. Anthony Cronin as well. Jack's Page, Joanne, everybody, all the usuals. How are we? Right, let's get straight into it. AA rocks. Thank you, Craig Weston. Really appreciate that, mate. It'll be good to see the starting 11 get into Darkness 03. Yeah, what are we expecting tomorrow, guys? Are we expecting a strong lineup from Klopp? Surely it's too soon to have the likes of Alisson, Salah and that involved. There's no way that they're going to be playing tomorrow. Obviously, Sadio Mane's not even back yet, so we will have him hopefully. Well, no, we'll have him hopefully soon enough. It's really bad because you feel bad because he's not there, but at the same time, you want him to do well. I mean, we're Liverpool fans, but he's a proud Senegalese national, and you want him to do well in the African Cup of Nations. But the fact that we're going to be without him, or we're still without him, really does kind of stick in the throat a little bit. Craig, did the person who runs your Instagram account pass on my message? Yes, John. Sorry, he did. Kev did pass it on to me. That was a lot of credentials, shall we say, John, for all the passes that you've had, mate. Yeah, I mean, no need to send any over, by the way, buddy, but I do appreciate you sending the photos, and I do, as I said last night, John, I have to get over to Wembley at some point, mate. A new first team face badly needed, said Robert Ryan. As always, mate, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to disagree at all. I've no problem on here having a discussion with people who believe that we need players, people who believe we don't need players. I mean, I'm open to all sides of it. All I ever ask is that people are willing to enter into a dialogue, and I fully believe we need an attacking player. I've said it all window, and am I going to be disappointed if the transfer window closes and we don't get one? Yeah, but you mean shit happens. You've got to just move on. I understand people who are going to be upset about it. I suppose it's just how we deal with that upset, and the season hasn't started, so we've just got to wait and see what happens. Yeah, look, it's fucking frustrating. There's no two ways about it. It is a little bit frustrating that we go from such a position of strength, winning the Champions League, to not really adding much depth. Now, we did sign Vandenberg and Harvey Elliott, and they look like promising young players, but like I can't but understand people who are a little bit frustrated that we didn't add that depth. Now, they're saying that we're renewing contracts, and that's great, and you want to keep your strongest players at the club, and it was great to have a transfer window where we didn't need to worry about Liverpool losing the likes of Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino, Sadio Mane. There was no thought of that even happening, so it was great to have that. Looking good with the tan. Thank you, Stephen. I feel so much healthier after getting a bit of sun. Right, Harvey Elliott, actually. I want to get something on Harvey Elliott because, as you guys know, a lot of people were inquiring about a transfer fee and stuff for Harvey Elliott. So I did look into it today, and Fulham hope Liverpool will have to pay £10 million for Harvey Elliott, and that's according to the Evening Standard. That would eclipse the £6.5 million that Liverpool ended up paying Burnley for Danny Ings back in 2015, which I believe still is, or at the time was, a record for what is it called when they go into these things? Tribunal. A record tribunal fee for a signing. So I don't know what Liverpool want to pay, but it seems Fulham want 9 or 10 million for Harvey Elliott, and it is going to have to go to a tribunal, as I said, because it doesn't look like both clubs can agree a fee for what would be just the young man's footballing education or his training up until this point. Is a 16-year-old worth 10 million? I don't know. That's not for me to decide, but he looks like a promising player. It is mad how these things work out like that. Like 10 million for a player who looks promising and was trained by Fulham, but to me it seems like an awful lot of money to cover his training costs. Now, I don't know what his open market value would be, because it's impossible to say for a 16-year-old that can't sign a professional contract. He has signed on underage terms at Liverpool Football Club because, 17 years or below you can't sign a professional contract. Actually, is it 17 you can sign at, or 18? But either way, he signed on school, but what I would call schoolboy terms, because I'm old school. Did we not pay more for Solanke? We bought him, didn't we? Or did we get him? Did we get Solanke? I know he came from... Was he a free contract? And then do we have to pay Chelsea a fee? Do you know what? I honestly don't remember, mate. Brian, I honestly don't remember. Just reading this today, they were saying that it would eclipse the 6.5 million plus add-ons Liverpool paid Burnley for Ings, but it's a fair show. I don't even remember what the fee was for Dominic Solanke. Craig, if we chop the man bun off, you could get a discount on Elliott. Now, we can't... Look, let's be fair about this. I was taking a piss a little bit with Harvey Elliott's hair as well at one point, but if we all look back to when we were 16, I had a fucking undercut and a bowl haircut, you know what I mean? So I can't be slagging anybody about haircuts, and now look at the state of me. So I think we got to just judge the chap on his football. He's 16 years of age. We've all had mad haircuts growing up. Anthony Cronin said I'd take Dembele or Malcolm or Ziyech now. I don't want Malcolm, to be fair, mate. I don't rate him. And I don't like the move that he pulled on Roma as well, when everybody was there waiting for him at the airport, and then he pretty much fucking changed his mind and went to Barcelona, and it hasn't worked out. We're not selling, so no need to sign, but we will add to our depth. We need to add to our depth, said Daniel Royal. I like a bun, said Craig Weston. I like a bun myself, mate. Look at the size of me. Can anybody name a player who's moved this summer that Liverpool should have gone for? Because I can't name any, said Neil Anthony. I kind of asked something similar last night, mate. I don't remember too many players that we've missed out on, so to speak, that we've been linked to and that have gone on to make us look foolish for not signing them. Looks like Pepe is going to sign for Arsenal. He's in town to do his medical, I believe. There's one deal that's after coming out in the past few hours. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Not really Liverpool related, but I still can't fucking believe this. But it looks like Juventus are willing to offer Dybala in exchange for Romelu Lukaku. I'm going to say that again. It looks like Juventus are willing to offer Paulo Dybala in exchange for Romelu Lukaku. Have they never seen Lukaku play football? I posted this up on Twitter, and even Mark Goldbridge, who was immense credit, came back and just said, shh. As if to say, like, don't say it and don't tell them. I mean, what the fuck, ladies and gentlemen? What the fuck? That just seems madness. Nagab said Malcolm going to Zenit St. Petersburg. That's probably his level, to be fair. Even when he was at Bordeaux and Liverpool were linked to him and Spurs were linked to him, it was a desperation signing from Barcelona, and he was never good enough to be a Barcelona player. Craig Weston said, can only see us signing a left back in this window. Hazard, with regard to what? A player we missed out on? Mate, we were never linked with signing. Oh, was it Torgan Hazard? Or Eden Hazard, David? I don't remember us ever being linked to signing Eden Hazard, mate. And if it's Torgan Hazard, has he made us look foolish yet? Because, to be quite frank, he's only just made the move to Borussia Dortmund, so I'm not sure which one you are talking about, though. Has Woodburn gone to Oxford United? Yes, he has. That has been confirmed by the club. Ben Woodburn has joined Oxford United on loan for the season, and surely it signals the end of his hopes of making it a Liverpool Football Club. And I'm somebody that never likes writing off a young player. I think it's very, very harsh to do so, but with the injury that he had last season, it didn't really get a chance to prove himself at Sheffield United. Came in, didn't really shine in pre-season, I think it's fair to say as well, but I have to say, ladies and gents, I'm a little bit surprised that he went to Oxford United. With all due respect, or no offence meant to League One, for Ben Woodburn not to even get a move to a championship club, that just seems a little bit suspect at best. Is that the right phrase to use? Whether we think he'll make it or not at Liverpool, surely his level is a little bit above League One. I can't believe that he's been loaned out to League One. Well, what do you guys think on this one? It has been confirmed. It's absolutely happened. I've seen him holding up the shirt. I'm sure you guys have seen the posts as well on social media. Liz Golden said, subscribe if you're able to. We're on the way to 20k. We're getting there bit by bit, subscriber by subscriber, ladies and gentlemen. And if you do enjoy our streams, or maybe you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit that button. We're trying our best to get towards that 20k mark. We have a competition running as well, thanks to footy.com. So for this one, you've got to go over to the Twitter account, because it's not really our competition to run, so we didn't make the rules for it. But if you want to enter, we're giving away Liverpool's home shirt in association with our friends at footy.com. Head over to the Anfield Agenda Twitter account, that's at Anfield Agenda, and there's a pinned tweet on there. All you have to do is follow us, follow footy.com, retweet the tweet, and you're in with a chance to win that shirt. We're giving it away on August the 9th, and thank you to footy.com for reaching out to us and giving us a chance to give away another home shirt, because who doesn't love free shit? I love giving away free shit. So if you're on Twitter, go over there, and if not, well, maybe this is the time to set up a Twitter account. But I gotta warn you, it can be a bit hit and miss on Twitter sometimes from a Liverpool perspective. Sarri's been smoking more than just cigarettes, said Will. I don't get it, Will. I mean, Sarri's seen him in the Premier League. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on Lukaku, but the Dybala for Lukaku, even if there's a bit of money involved, it just seems madness altogether. Eddie Martin said Dybala is so overrated. I understand your train of thought there, mate, and he certainly still has some proving to do, but Lukaku's fucking muck, mate. I mean, Lukaku was great at bullying weaker opposition, but we've seen how poor his touch is. We've seen how poor he's been in the Premier League. So for that move if that move comes, I mean, it's an improvement for United. You have to say, the Dybala for Lukaku is definitely going to be an improvement. And I'm a Liverpool fan. I don't want to see them strengthen. I don't want to see them strengthen at all. 10 days to go, not counting the glorified friendly on Sunday, said Graham Holmes. Bruno's agent has been in the air for 3 months now, said Dave Davidson. It's a good point, mate, yeah. I mean, the motherfucker's been clocking up those air miles like nobody's business. Have we been linked to Varane, said Anthony Cronin. Not that I've seen, Anthony, mate, although we've been pretty much linked to every Real Madrid player under the sun at this point, but I haven't seen any links to Rafael Varane, a quality footballer. The Irish Beard said, watch the absolute meltdown as soon as we lose a game. It's all about... I don't care about pre-season. The performances haven't been great from the US Tour's point of view, and then of course the game that we played there recently as well. Yeah, it hasn't been great up in Murrayfield against Napoli, a team that we blew aside last year in Dublin. To go and lose 3-0 and put on that level of performance, it wasn't great, but I'd rather we put in those shitty performances in pre-season, because it's just all about getting fitness levels ready. DCB, how are you, sir? Welcome in from Glasgow. Lukaku keeps getting thicker, said Liz Golden. Apparently, Eden Hazard popped back to pre-season training with Real Madrid. Was it 7 kilograms overweight? Which, excuse me, my maths, I'm not sure what that is in old money. Is it about 15, 16 pound, something like that, overweight? Which is fucking shocking, to be honest, if it's true. And you're after making that potentially dream transfer to Real Madrid, and he's coming back looking like a Teletubby by the sounds of things. Now, I haven't seen the images or anything, but if you show up 7 kilograms overweight after getting a dream move to a club that you profess to want to play for your whole life, something's wrong. That's not great at all. Lukaku's very good if you play to his strengths. Sorry, he doesn't play the kind of football though, so that rumour is clearly bullshit. Makes absolutely no sense. It's not at all bullshit, Brian. It is absolutely true. It's not bullshit. Dybala's agent is coming over for talks with Manchester United. Apparently Dybala wants to stay and fight for his place in Juventus, but he's willing to listen to what Manchester United have to say, and if they give him enough money, maybe it'll happen. Antonio said, Mossy Keane, Everton are unstoppable, be afraid. Well, firstly, mate, it would be a good piece of business, but just to show you what a B-Tech club Everton really are and how this means fuck all to the real world, if Keane does in any way well at Everton, there's a buyback clause going to be inserted in there by Juventus, and they will exercise it and just show you up for the B-Tech club that you guys are. So, I mean, I wouldn't be bragging that much, to be fair, because it's technically a glorified fucking loan that you're going to get for the player. So, and we all know what's going to happen. You're going to do fuck all again this season, as the bidders do every season, Antonio. But that being said, mate, I'm not having a go at you as a person. Welcome into the channel, but don't come in giving a Billy Big bollocks, mate. Come on. There's only one team here that's going to do that this year, and it ain't the Bitter Blues, who are just putting out their shiny new stadium plans. Look at our new stadium plans. They're fucking marvellous. Any chance of some building going on, lads, for that stadium? No, we're still at the phase where it's taken us a year and a half just to get this lovely little image together. But we're signing Keane, so be very afraid. We're not. Little rumour, we're not afraid at all. Have we been linked with Ramos? For what? To kick the fuck out of him, because that's all we could do with Sergio Ramos. I mentioned last night as well, for people that weren't on the stream, reading Paul Tompkins' brilliant book Mentality Monsters, I was educated to the fact that apparently Ramos had allegedly failed a drugs test, I believe, October of last year maybe, and that he disappeared for another as well when he was looked for a piss test. Apparently he disappeared and he was unavailable because he was in the shower. So do some research on that one. Get your point, but Lukaku will always score you goals. Dybala just seems like a Falcao or Di Maria. Yeah, he is a bully. He's a good bully, Lukaku. I'll give him that one, but when it comes to the big games, I think it's fair to say he isn't really a big game player. Klopp must be trusted, and when Brewster is worth 50 million and Lewis is playing like a baby James Milner, we'll know Klopp was right, just like he was with VVD, said Craig Challoner. I've every faith in Jurgen Klopp, mate. Every faith. If we don't do any business in this window, I have a feeling that there's an underlying reason. Now, whether I know people are going to go, yeah, dickhead, it's FSG. Look, my thoughts on FSG are a little bit mixed, but I think there is money there if Jurgen Klopp wants to sign somebody. My thought process on this is that either the player that Klopp wants isn't available, and we know he doesn't like to settle for second best. If he has a player that's top of his list, that's a player that he usually tries to get. And if that takes an extra window or two, then so be it. Another train of thought here is obviously that we're looking at the Annie Road end, and we're possibly looking at letting that planning permission lapse, which is up in September, because there's lots of rumours doing the rounds that Liverpool are looking to really go after this and increase the capacity by a lot more than the 4.5k I think it was that they were looking to do. So hopefully that's true. Because surely it would be, well, would it be? It's not really my place to say. In my point of view, I wouldn't mind a transfer window where we just consolidated if it meant we got to go ahead for the Annie Road end and there was a serious increase there where it would get more bums on seats and get more fans into the stadium. Now look, you could do an entire show on that alone, and we probably will when the plans come out or when the club come out and say what they're actually going to do. Stephen Richards said Everton are a B-Tech Tranmere Rovers. On that, did you see Marine were beating Tranmere Rovers 4-0 earlier on? I'm not sure if that's how it finished, but yeah, well done Marine. Don't underestimate Everton, big mistake. You're fucking shite, mate. It's not a big mistake. Underestimate you. By what? You underestimate. Every year you come out with this. We won fucking pre-season. We're absolutely brilliant. Watch out for Everton this year. You and old hairy hands, all you Everton fans and old hairy hands need to just realise that nobody is scared of Everton, mate. Nobody. We never will be. We never were. It's never going to happen. You're going to finish 8th, 9th or 10th. 7th maybe at a push, but nobody's worried, mate. I mean, as I said, nothing against you, Antonio, as a person, mate, but come on, it's fucking Everton, mate. Can think of any free transfers the Klopp might pull out of the bag before the window shuts, said Don Ellis. No, I can't. And I don't believe it's a money thing. I don't think it's a money thing. I think it's either that we can't get the player the Klopp wants, or he genuinely just has faith in what's there. And the drop. Look, there's no denying the drop off from the front three is a lot. Even allowing for Ryan Brewster's tremendous talent and the fact that he's going to be an absolute worldie. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Ryan Brewster, if he can stay injury free, will be an absolute superstar. And Divock Origi is decent backup to have, and hopefully he continues progressing as well. But at the same time, if we had an injury or two to that front three, we are going to be in a bit of trouble. There's no denying it. We've seen without our front three, even allowing for the fact it's just pre-season, there is a drop-off there. I think even the most loyal fan would have to say that we were all probably expecting one, if not two transfers. If I remember back to the start of the transfer window, I think a lot of us were saying if he could bring in either an attacking midfielder or some type of an attacking foe or attacking wide player and maybe a backup left back, we would have been fairly happy. And it doesn't look like either are going to happen. Although, I suppose you could add Harvey Elliott could be that attacking winger. And Jurgen Klopp's just willing to bide his time and see how this kid gets on, because he looks like a very talented young man indeed. And most importantly, something I just learned today from reading up, he was brought to Real Madrid's training ground, and Zinedine Zidane and Real Madrid offered Harvey Elliott more money than he would have been getting at Liverpool. But because Harvey Elliott is a Red and a lifelong Red and comes from a family of Reds, it was his dream move to sign for Liverpool, and he signed for our club, and that is beautiful to hear. I mean, we all want to hear of a player's dream being to play for Liverpool, but to know for a fact now that he turned down the chance to go to Real Madrid because he wants to play for his boyhood club, that's class. And I really do hope sincerely that it's going to be a great period from at Liverpool Football Club. Nagab said we'll probably sign Memphis Depay. Right, honestly, hand on heart, who believes we're going to make a signing? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you think Liverpool are going to pull something out of the bag here in the last, what have we got, 8 days or something left in the transfer window. Were we even interested in Nicolas Pepe, said Nagab. Well, look, I suppose it depends who you believe, buddy, doesn't it? We've known all along that the journalists, let's say the continental journalists, said that Liverpool definitely held an interest in Nicolas Pepe. But then again, we were briefed by the English-based journalist, Melissa Reddy's and whatnot, that Liverpool have no interest in Nicolas Pepe, and even went out of their way to contact Lille to say that we've no interest in Nicolas Pepe. Now, what seems to have come out is that Arsenal are getting Nicolas Pepe for £72 million, roughly, depending on the exchange rate, €80 million. It seems like they're only having to put down £25 million and they're going to pay the rest in instalments over 5 years, which isn't at all unusual in transfers, but if you believe it's a money thing, then ask yourself, really, could we not have afforded that? If that was the player that Klopp wanted, and he really wanted Nicolas Pepe, do you believe that we would have been beaten out by Arsenal financially for that player? Or that he would have preferred to go to Arsenal and play under Unai Emery, who's a very good manager. I'm not at all dissing Unai Emery, or Arsenal Football Club for that matter, but we're European champions. If we were really in for Nicolas Pepe, he'd probably be here. What country is Elliott from? He's English. Surely he's English. He looks like a real baller, said Luke Whitfield. He does. He absolutely does. And he looks full of confidence. And I love that he looks full of confidence. I love that about a player. Klopp seems to always buy early, so my gut says no. Does he? I was seeing a lot of things over the past few days that suggest that he's made signings later in windows on other occasions. I mean, Alisson came fairly late in the window, didn't he? Or am I just imagining that one? Anyway, Connor reckons we're not going to sign anybody. Basically, everybody says we're not going to sign anybody. A couple of people believe we are. Jamal believes we might sign somebody. Darks, Nageb. Most other people are saying no. Who we got? Jack Hamilton thinks there might be someone there. Harry Belcher thinks might be someone there. Brian Morris, he's just writing thumbs down because he couldn't be arsed breaking out the emojis. Are you going to do call-ins for the games this year, Craig, said Scotty. I haven't had a chance to talk to Connor about it yet, but I think the plan is yes, mate. From the start of the Premier League, we probably will do call-ins. It's just about making sure that we can get people to call in every week, because there's nothing more frustrating than getting it all set up and then not having people call in. So we might try and set up a few, what would we call it, a soft start where we have a few people that we know to call in. Cash is going to come on tomorrow, by the way, so I look forward to catching up with Cash. I'm going to do a watch along of the game against Lyon, which will start at about 5:30, 20 to 6. Match kicks off at 6 p.m. UK time. So we're going to do that, and then we'll be back at 9:30 as always tomorrow night with the late night agenda, where I will of course be joined by Cash for just a bit of a catch up really. Never in for Pepe or any big names at Happily Eggs. Can't see Liverpool making a signing or of any huge impact player. Clock's ticking. So is it Yahax or Yaya? Excuse me if I've mispronounced your name, mate. I'm just across the border from you, Craig, to Jack Hamilton. Which side, Jack? Wicklow or Dublin, mate? Can't see a signing anybody, so Gary Woodcock. He starts for Arsenal, not Liverpool. That's a big selling point, though. Is it, though? I get where you're coming from. I mean, but at the same time, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, if I'm Nicolas Pepe and I really believe I'm that good, and I know Liverpool potentially have 72 games this year and that the front three can't play them all, I'm going to back myself to take my chances when they come. But hey, again, if he wants first team football and that's genuinely what he wants, then, fair play to the guy. What about me? What do I think about it? Honestly, hand on heart, I think I'm more towards the side of hoping for a signing rather than believing we're going to make a signing at this point. Anyway, there was some information, like the title of the stream. You guys are probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about with the title of tonight's stream. So, a report today suggests that Paris Saint-Germain have joined Liverpool in the hunt for Augsburg defender Philipp Max. Now, we've spoken about him before on the stream. The 25-year-old left-back is believed to be of interest to the Reds and Newcastle as well. And the report from Soccerlink claims that the player is open to a move to Paris. What do you guys think on this? Do you think there's any genuine interest from Liverpool in this guy? It would make sense. It is a position we could probably do with strengthening in or getting back up in. He's 25 years of age. Would he want to come in and play back up to Andy Robertson? Would he go to PSG and start? I'm not sure. Newcastle, I don't even know if there's genuine links to Newcastle, but it is definitely a club that I've seen his name mentioned with. Ox was on the last day of the transfer window, said Pat Moynihan. 80 million on a bench player, said the Irish Beard. Craig, do you think we'll sign anybody? I've just answered that, so I'm probably playing catch up with some of the comments. Who's this Madrid wonderkid? 2 seconds, buddy. I will get to that, Pop and Powell. Just bear with me. Let me just get through this Philipp Max stuff. What else we got? What about signing Bale on loan for a year? Apparently Real Madrid and Florentino Perez don't want to sell or loan Bale to a Champions League rival. So us being, the reigning European champions. Did I mention the number 6 so far? Number 6, motherfuckers. Apparently they don't want to loan him to... It's really weird the way they're treating Bale, isn't it? I mean, apparently now they're saying that it was Real Madrid that pulled the plug on that move to China, and it wasn't Gareth Bale or his family that turned it down. Florentino Perez decided that, hey, you know what, you can't have him for nothing. So now he's in a position where he's not at their training camp, I believe, or he didn't travel with the Real Madrid squad. He's kind of standing around scratching his nuts. He earns a decent wage of money as well, and Real Madrid could do with freeing up some cash. So what will happen with Gareth Bale? I genuinely don't know, but it is interesting to sit back and watch. I've seen something earlier on that suggested that maybe Bale is willing to bide his time again and seeing if he can outlast Zinedine Zidane again at Real Madrid. JR6 said we won't make a first team signing. There was talk of a 15 to 20 million pound backup forward, but we haven't seen any real links yet, said Gerard Macaulay. I do remember that. Was it Dominic? No, it wasn't. Was it Dominic? The guy from the Mirror, wasn't it? That I think it was that. I think it was the guy from the Mirror that came out and said that we might sign a 15 to 20 million pound left-sided player or an attacking player. Was it Dominic King? I can't remember who it was, but there was definitely somebody that put that story out. Klopp said there wasn't 70 million to spend this summer, so it's financial. Did he? I don't remember reading Klopp saying there wasn't 70 million to spend this summer. I remember him saying that we had to pay our bills, but I don't remember him saying there wasn't 70 million to spend. I think we didn't want to give Pepe's agent the high fees, which is why Pepe rejected Napoli. I'd like to be able to say that that's probably true, Gaming Guy, but we've topped the list of agents' fees paid in the past year or two, I believe. 5 million was the rumoured fee that his agent wanted, and again, the player himself wanted something like 90 to 100 grand a week, which if you're spending 72 million pound on a player seems entirely reasonable for wage demands. I just don't think we were interested in him. I really just don't think we were interested in him. Maybe it was the price point, I don't know. Again, Bayern Munich were similar. They looked at him and they just weren't convinced by the looks of things that he was going to develop quickly enough for them, and they look to have turned their attention towards Leroy Sané, but look, whether they'll get him or not, I don't know. Jamal Thompson said we need a left winger. Bob Stevens is clearly some type of fucking... I don't know. I don't even want to use the term that's in my head, pal, but he said Salah is pants. You're fucking pants, mate. Salah's won the Golden Boot 2 years in a row. You can kiss my big Irish nuts. Craig reminds me of Alexi Sale. Yeah, you're not the first one to say that, and you won't be the last one, but let's just circle back around to that fucking ridiculous comment again on Mo Salah, because that is just complete and utter horseshit. And it's probably just there to get a reaction, to be fair, but it is one of the most fucking stupid comments I've ever read on this channel. I support the best team in the blue side of Merseyside. Okay, mate, yeah. You support Everton. Well done. Look forward to another season of doing fuck all, my friend. It was David Maddock. Jamal, you're absolutely spot on, mate. Thank you. Imagine being that stupid for saying Mo Salah is pants. Even as a bidder. Like, even saying that. I mean, I can look at Everton's players and admit that one or two of them are decent enough. But to say that Mo Salah, the Golden Boot winner, the man that helped lift the Champions League this season, as pants, is just... You're just embarrassing yourself, mate, to be fair. And there is a reason you fuckers are called the bidders as well, so you're showing your true colours there. Man, it looks weird seeing that tan on you. Looks good, just not used to it, said Eric. Thank you. Yeah, I needed to get some sunshine, mate. You're right, I was a pale ass motherfucker, but I'm feeling a lot healthier now with a bit of sun on my back. Will they take Wilson from Bournemouth as backup? He just signed a new contract, Scotty, at Bournemouth, I believe, this summer, so he won't be going anywhere. Why would any manager tell the market how much they had to spend? Exactly, Craig. Exactly, Mr. Challoner. I agree with you. It would be just stupid to do that. Is there bite-sized agendas coming out? Haven't had a chance. I'm only just back from holidays a day, Sefty Joe. If there is news to put out, then yes, I will do it. It only takes me a few minutes, mate, so it's no problem. Give me a day or two when I get back into the swing of things, buddy, and I will get one up for you, because I know that people did enjoy the shorter content, and I'm just playing catch up at the minute, buddy, but I will get some sorted soon, don't worry. Where's Sturridge gone? Nowhere yet, Harry. He was released because his contract at Liverpool was up. I think Trabzonspor, or one of the Turkish teams, had offered him, I think, 2 million a year, but he's looking for 3 million a year. That's about the only interest I've really seen was from Turkey for Daniel Sturridge. I think he wanted more wages. Arsenal are offering 150 grand a week. I have no idea what Arsenal are offering wages-wise, mate. But again, for whatever the reasons are, we don't seem to have an interest. Whether it's the transfer fee, whether it's the wages, whether it's the agent's fee, whether it's just the fact that we don't want the player, I don't know. Thoughts on Pepe to Arsenal? I've got to be honest, mate, and said all along, I've not seen much of Nicolas Pepe, which is why I didn't say I wanted him or I didn't want him at Liverpool all summer. I genuinely am the right person to ask about him, because I don't watch much French football outside of maybe Lyon and the big games with PSG, Marseille and stuff like that. I know Lille did very well last year, don't get me wrong, but I just never really tuned in to watch them. Didn't fit the profile. Somebody else said, would Mbappe 2020 happen if we have a bad season? Well, I don't know if it'll happen full stop, Don. I hope it does. I mean, I'm fully on board the hashtag Mbappe 2020 train, but I don't think we're going to have a bad season. And again, it depends on what constitutes a bad season. Every season so far under Jurgen Klopp, we've seen progression, and I expect another good, strong season, if I'm being brutally honest. I mean, I'm going into this season full of confidence and hope. I know it hasn't been the greatest of pre-seasons, but we're still champions of Europe, and we still got 97 points in the league, lost one game, and haven't lost a league game at Anfield in 2 years. So there's a lot to be positive about going into the season. Are you worried that Liverpool won't make a big enough signing? I'm not worried, but I'm a little bit frustrated. I'm not going to lie. Discarded Ant 58. I would have liked us to make an attacking signing, or maybe a fullback, but not worried. I think disappointed is more the word, or frustrated maybe. Peter Bryan said, all who love what Craig is doing, like up the stream, please. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. So many really kind and lovely people that drop into our chat, and I really appreciate it. Obviously, there's a couple of morons as well, but look, not everyone's going to like what we do. Some people just don't like Liverpool Football Club, and heck, some people just think I'm a dickhead, so I understand that as well. Pepe is on hire purchase, said Bob Stevens. I think that's what he means anyway. Which is kind of true, yeah. Put the money down and then buy him over 5 years. Although that's not unusual. It's just a matter of if clubs these days are willing to take a lower or a lower cash fee up front and the rest in installments. Some clubs want all the money up front, and some clubs are happy to take it over 5 years. Liz Golden says Surge has been punished for betting. I don't think he'll get signed until it's resolved. I don't know if that ban would cross over though. He's banned from the Premier League. I don't know if he signed for, say, a club in Turkey, Liz, if that ban would carry over or not. So I genuinely can't give you an answer on that one. Okay, what else have we got? Whoever wins the Shield will have to play against 10 defenders for the season, says Maureen Murta. It would be nice to lift the trophy, but I mean, the Community Shield, I've said all along, I don't think we should be in the thing. We didn't win the league, we didn't win the FA Cup, we didn't finish runners-up in the FA Cup. Yes, we finished runners-up in the league, but I don't know, it just feels weird for us being playing in the Community Shield. But at the end of the day, a lot of foreign managers seem to rank it as a genuine trophy, so it's another piece of silverware to play for. Any news on Larucci's injury? I think he's back training, Adam. He's certainly with the squad over in Evian this week, so fingers crossed all is well with him. What player do I want at Liverpool? I still wouldn't mind Timo Werner, if I'm being honest, and I know that we haven't signed Timo Werner or looked at Timo Werner because we didn't want to block the pathway, I can't get my words out, for Ryan Brewster, but at the same time, Werner started his career in a wide position, so he could probably play anywhere across the front three. I think Ziyech would be a very good value signing at around 30 million. Not going to lie, I wouldn't have minded Dybala either. Zaha wouldn't have said no to. Pepe, don't know enough about. Fernandes, again, didn't see too much of him, but what I've seen of him in the games I have watched, he looks decent enough. Certainly likes to strike from distance. Mignolet can tell you all about that. Craig, one point of view is that last season was the first season with this new team. They should develop, so it's fascinating to think how they'll play this season. Exactly. As I said earlier on, it's great to go into a transfer window and not have to worry about losing one of our star players. And many years past, we've had second place finishes and looked like pushing on. We did lose players. And there's a lot to be said as well. Even Mourinho, to his credit, came out and said that when he won with Porto, it was about keeping players. It was about keeping that group together, and that they continuously developed and got better and better and better. And they went on for winning the Europa League to then go and win the Champions League. And sometimes keeping players together, and look at Spurs as a good example. I know they kind of flagged as the season went on last year, but they got to a Champions League final. And Mauricio Pochettino kept the same group of players together there, and that community and that team spirit can really help. And there's nothing wrong with improving players through coaching as well. And there's one thing we know Jurgen Klopp can do, it is improve players. He's improved so many footballers at this club. Okay, let me just catch up. I'm just seeing so many people replying to that Bob Stevens guy. Would love Fernandes, wouldn't mind Zaha, and would not like Dybala, said Eddie Martin. Werner would be a really decent signing, said Will. What else we got? Adam Park said, I don't think I've ever been so excited for a new season as I am for this one. I'm really looking forward to it, mate. I have to say, pre-season hasn't been great, but maybe a nice result tomorrow against Lyon. Get some more training in for the players ahead of the game against Manchester City, and then it's on to the Super Cup, and then of course Norwich. How many Evertonians does it take to change a light bulb? None. They just sit in the dark and blame Liverpool. Nice one, Craig. I like that. You're right. Keep the top players, the most important thing. And maybe January we could get one or two new faces, said Jason Powell. I really do not think we're going to sign anybody, said Gamers of Sweden. What centre-back do I want at Liverpool? None. I'm absolutely sound with the centre-backs that we have. I mean, if we were to move on Degsy Lovren, yeah, then maybe. But we've got Sepp Vandenberg there as well. We've got young Nat Phillips, who's still developing. Obviously, we have Van Dijk, Joe Gomez, Joel Matip. So I'm alright with the centre-backs that we have at the club. I never thought there was a need for us to go out this summer and spend big in that position. Enbro, how are you, buddy? Said, good evening, Craig. Nice to have you back, looking bronzed and re-energised. Who has impressed most in pre-season? Well, I've got to be honest and say the 2 games that were on while I was away, I didn't get to watch. I only seen highlights of. But who's impressed me? Not really many, to be honest. I mean, obviously Brewster got his goals early on, and it's great to see him getting on the score sheet, and I think he'll go on and do huge things for the football club. But there hasn't really been too many standout. Curtis Jones looks neat and tidy as always, and I genuinely think he must be right on the fence now, or Klopp must be right on the fence with regards to him and what he does, because he's had 2 decent pre-seasons in a row, and I just don't know, where does he fit in to the Liverpool team? I think I'd like to see Curtis Jones get a loan, but a loan at a good level, because I think he can prove himself. But yeah, there hasn't been many standout performers this year in pre-season. Larouci looked very good, obviously, before he got the shit kicked out of him in that game. Adam Lewis hasn't had the greatest of pre-seasons, but he got caught out a little bit naively for a penalty as well. Not writing off the kid by any stretch of the imagination. I still think Adam Lewis will go on and be a decent footballer. There hasn't really been many that I would say stood out for me in pre-season. People were asking about the Real Madrid youngster, so let me just get down to that. So apparently Liverpool have made an approach for Real Madrid wonderkid Israel Salazar, according to Bernabeu Digital. The 16-year-old forward has apparently turned down offers from around 50 clubs looking to bring him on board. Now, I don't know if this approach would be one of those situations where Real Madrid try to insert a buyback clause. I don't know if Liverpool do really have an interest in this guy, Salazar. We are going around signing up the best young players in the world, so it would make sense. But if he's turned down offers from 50 clubs, which was, I think, a report from, I think it was in the Echo I read this on. I don't know anything about the kid. He's 16 years of age, much as I didn't know much about Harvey Elliott before, because I don't really keep track of underage players from other clubs. So Wonder Kid gets thrown around as well, so I don't know. Has anybody seen this guy or read up on this guy or have any information on this guy? Because I've got to be honest, until today I'd never even heard of his name. Genie was consistent. Yeah, he was alright. Genie's always consistent, to be fair. Jones looks our best prospect, says, is it Crickety? I don't know how the fuck to pronounce that, mate. CRICKI7D. There's no way I'm even trying to pronounce that one. What about Firpo? Somebody said. Yes, I have a little bit of stuff on Firpo as well. So where have we got? So Liverpool have been given fresh hope of landing Junior Firpo this summer, according to a report from ESPN. Barcelona were reportedly interested in signing the player from Real Betis, but believe they can save money by buying Darmian for Manchester United for around £10 million. However, the Echo believe that the Reds don't currently have Firpo on their radar. The Echo seem to be just pouring cold water all over everything this summer, don't they? What I'd seen about Barcelona was that they believe they could have maybe got Firpo for around 25 or 30 million, but they think that signing Mario Darmian from United for 10 million would be better business for them. I mean, whatever, if they think that, fair enough. But yeah, again with Firpo, I don't know about Firpo. It's hard to. I know I sound like a broken record, but none of us know what the hell's going on at the club at the minute. None of us have a fucking clue. We don't know if we've an interest in Firpo. We don't know if there's a Fabinho style transfer in the works. We're all sitting here maybe hoping for a hashtag Mbappe 2020 situation. It's crazy. I just don't know. None of us know. And I know it gets a bit boring coming on here every night and we're all getting a bit fucking frustrated and we're all having a go at each other from time to time. But I'm genuinely excited about this new season because we're champions of Europe. I've seen the football. You guys seen the football we played last season. Well, why wouldn't you be optimistic? Push aside the fact that maybe there's a bit of disappointment about a new face coming in. I get that. But at the same time, what a squad we have, ladies and gentlemen. And I know it's a gamble and I know we're going to roll the dice that our front three don't pick up many injuries throughout the season, and I get that. I absolutely get that. But we do have a very good squad. Who's Manchester City's leader now? I don't think they've any big leaders now because Company is gone, said Anthony Cronin. It's a good point. They brought in Rodri. They've lost Vincent Kompany. Rodri brought in as backup or competition for Fernandinho, who is going to be their talisman this year. Who is going to take the place of Vincent Kompany? I'd read reports that they're looking for, is it Semedo? Is it the guy from Barcelona that they're looking at? Which makes sense because they'd also been linked to Dani Alves as well. Now, I don't know if that was a lazy link because Pep worked with him at Barcelona and Dani Alves is a free agent, so maybe it was just a tabloid putting two and two together. Keane said, am I the only one who thinks we need a better second choice goalkeeper? I can understand your train of thought, I should say, Keane. I have a love-hate relationship with Simon Mignolet, mate. I'm not even going to lie. Sometimes I look at him and think, yeah, he's alright as a backup keeper. Definitely not good enough as a first choice. And then you just get reminded every now and again that Mignolet gets flustered from time to time and makes some monumental fuck-ups. His distribution was never good enough. Not for the style of football we like to play. Look, fuck-ups happen to everybody, but that was a very, very bad fuck-up. That shot from Fernandes. That was awful. Awful goalkeeping. Just poor concentration. Caoimhín Kelleher is out for 6 weeks, I think, with a wrist injury after a broken wrist, or he had an operation on his wrist. I understand where you're coming from, and I genuinely did think that Mignolet was going to move on this summer, mainly because he wanted first-team football, and he's 31 years of age now, I think, so I did think he'd move on, and we would have looked at bringing in Etheridge or somebody of that ilk as a backup keeper, but as things stand, it doesn't look like Mignolet's going anywhere, but I don't think you're on your own in that train of thought, Keane. Okay, so short visit for me tonight. No problem, John, mate. Always a pleasure. I'll catch up with you real soon. It's hard to tell if Everton fans are high on crack or just their regular selves. Look, everybody wants to get behind their team, and I get it, but there's a line of, being realistic here sometimes that, look, we cross that line sometimes as Liverpool fans, but Everton fans are in a league of their own. Every pre-season, they get a few good results, they make a signing or two, and they think they're going to be challenging the big boys again, and look, they may well progress a little bit, but they're not going to be up there challenging for Champions League places, and I'd be very surprised if they're even in the conversation seriously for a European place. Digne has turned into a class player, and also Gomez. Yerry Mina, I think that deal was done in the dark. We'll see, may prove me wrong. Yep, Lucas Digne had a good season for Everton, no denying that whatsoever, and Gomez does look a very tidy player. I was very impressed actually when we played Everton with the calibre of Gomez midfield play. And yeah, Digne has done well, but he's no Andy Robertson, but he's had a very good season for Everton. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. What else have we got? High on crack would be useful. Have to be high to debate with the red ones. Is Karius still on loan? Technically, but it's a loan to buy. Now he does have to hit certain targets, I believe, over the course of the 2 years, but it looks like he's going to stay at Besiktas this season, and if he does and he plays the required number of games, I think that will trigger, was it 12 million in total? I know we got a loan fee from for the 2 years. I think it was 12 million in total it would cost Besiktas if those conditions are met and that is triggered, and they do have to buy him after 2 years. But either way, I don't ever see him coming back to Liverpool Football Club. If it didn't work out with Besiktas, from what I've read, there's a couple of clubs in Germany that will be willing to take him there. What time is kick-off for the Lyon game tomorrow? It's from UK time base, mate. It's 6 p.m. for that game tomorrow. So we'll have a 6 p.m. kick-off for that one, and then we'll be back at 9:30 as well with the late night agenda tomorrow. So lots of content coming up on the channel. James Murray said, hey bud, I'm just really scared for the chance of dropping quality if and when our front three need a rest. I'd love to see Bruno Fernandes, would hate to see him in a Manchester United jersey. James, I get you buddy, I get where you're coming from completely. There is a drop off. Now, as I keep saying, I don't think we can put Ryan Brewster in that category as a drop off because he's a young developing player, and I think every single one of us are very, very confident that he will go on and perform to the very highest levels in the coming years. It's just a matter of whether he can hit the ground running straight away, and it's very difficult. He seems a very confident young man, but it seems very difficult to put that much pressure on young shoulders to come in and replace a Roberto Firmino, Mo Salah, Sadio Mane. Divock Origi can do a job, no doubt about that, but there is a drop off there in level. There's no denying it. But if we went out and signed somebody else, what type of level of player are we talking about here? I mean, you've mentioned Bruno Fernandes there, who would be more of an attacking midfielder, so couldn't really fill in the front three, might require a change of system if one of our front three got injured, and hey, look, we've seen that before as well. Zaha turned down Everton to stay at Crystal Palace, said Yassar. What I'd seen was they had a £55 million bid turned down by Crystal Palace. Then there was rumours that Everton bid £55 million, offered Cenk Tosun and James McCarthy as part of the deal, but Everton have come out and said today that that simply isn't true. That they did make the first bid, but that they haven't offered the two players as well on top of that. They were very respectful in the way they went about it. They said they have a very good relationship with Crystal Palace, but they just wanted to put the truth out there into the public agenda. Mossy Kyo said I would have loved Neil Etheridge. What nationality is Etheridge, by the way? Because I assumed he was Welsh or English, but he isn't. He plays for a very obscure international team, if memory serves me correct. I just remember reading it in the last few days and being quite shocked. Craig Adams said, once you look at the proper 23-man squad, it'll be very strong. Whatever youngsters make the squad will improve immensely. If we don't sign a left-back backup, Larouci or Lewis, says Eric Stein. On pre-season, and only based on pre-season, Eric, I would have to say Larouci would get the nod from me. He looked very exciting, particularly going forward. Some of his link-up play on that left-hand side with James Milner in particular was very, very good, and I love his overlapping runs, and he's got pace to get back and cover if needs be as well, but he is a young developing player. But for me, of those two you've mentioned right now, from what I've seen, I would go with Larouci, but I know Adam Lewis is certainly very highly thought of at the club as well. Jax Page said, imagine a 4-2-3-1 with our normal back five, Fabinho and Keita in midfield, Bobby in the attacking midfield position, Salah on the right, Mane on the left, and Kylian Mbappe up front. Yeah, mate, I could definitely get on board that train, I'm not going to lie. Craig, I looked on the internet and I found over three... What's this? Sorry. Where's this? Sorry, it's just... Where's this? Chat keeps fucking skipping. Sorry, lads, bear with me one sec. I looked on the internet and I found that over 3 of next season's games they had... Who? That comment, I'm completely lost, Anthony, as to what you're saying there, mate. Love the show, mate. Great side, said Brendan Smith. Thank you so much, Brendan, mate. It's always a pleasure to hear that people enjoy the show, and it is also a pleasure to interact with Reds around the world, mate. That's the reason we started the channel. And on that, with that in mind, as always, if you're enjoying the stream tonight, we're heading towards... We did hit 18,800, but I think YouTube did a bit of a purge or something, so we lost some followers. So if you're enjoying the stream, ladies and gents, please do hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up as well. We have lots of exciting stuff coming up for you guys this season. As I said to you yesterday, I know a lot of you missed the stream. Mark Goldbridge is going to be coming on next Monday for a chat. We're going to talk obviously about the transfer window. We're going to have a look ahead to the season and get a Manchester United perspective on how they're looking at things. And obviously Mark will probably be a little bit more chipper than the last time we spoke, with them having done some business in this window. United signed Di Maria, another potent midfielder. Fernandes might turn up to be another Di Maria, said Yassar. It's always a gamble. He had an excellent season, a record-breaking season for Sporting Lisbon with regards to goals scored from midfield, but that was in Portugal, not in one of the higher leagues in Europe. But then again, he still looked quite tidy when he played for Portugal, and he seemed to be quite a handful when we played against Sporting Lisbon in that pre-season friendly as well. Anthony Davis said, I saw over 3 games, hundreds of tickets on one site alone, just to make sense. I saw over 3 games, hundreds of tickets on one site alone. Is this with regards to touting, mate? Is it? Sorry, I'm a bit confused, mate. I hate Liverpool, said Soud. Well, do you know what, mate? Liverpool hates you as well, so they won. I'm only messing, mate. You're very welcome in. I mean, you hate Liverpool just lets us know that you're scared of us. But that's alright, mate. We won't hold that against you. Bought the 3 shirts now, said Craig Adams 667. Can't afford food, but it's worth it. I actually ordered myself I was going to get the new 3rd kit, but I just couldn't bring myself to pull the trigger on it. So I ordered the training shirt from the 3rd kit, because I actually think it's a little bit nicer than the kit itself. But that's just my opinion. It's not Paraguay, Mossy. No, it's not Paraguay that he plays for. The Philippines. There you go. Philippines. Yeah, very strange that one, isn't it? Neil Etheridge and the Philippines. It's not something you would automatically imagine. And it is the Philippines, you're right. I remember, you are absolutely right. Ladies and gents, as always, you saved my ass. Do we have a new goalkeeper? What do you mean by a new goalkeeper? No, we have the 2 goalkeepers that we've always had, mate. Alisson Becker and SpongeBob Mignolet. Do you think any goalkeeper is up to the standard of Alisson? Yes, there are some very good goalkeepers in the world. Alisson's had a fantastic season, an absolutely immense first season at Liverpool. It's easy to get carried away and say he's the best keeper in the world. But being realistic about it, he has to continue to keep doing that for me to be in the conversation for the best goalkeeper in the world. Last season, he probably performed as one of the best, but I still think David De Gea, he had a shit year last year, but I still rank him as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You can't speak about Alisson without talking about Ederson as well, because there isn't much between the two of them, if we're being fair. Obviously, me being a little bit biased, I would side for Alisson, but Ederson's another very good goalkeeper with tremendous distribution. Alonso was class, said Stephen Booker. I don't support Liverpool, but yeah, Alonso was class. Look, Xabi Alonso was absolute top quality as a man and as a footballer. Is the £20 million player signing still on? Your guess is as good as mine, buddy. I have no idea. We're signing Heaton, apparently. I take him. I did see that link, Callum, mate. Yes, I absolutely did see that link to Heaton. And it wouldn't be a bad signing as a backup goalkeeper, yeah. It would still have to move Mignolet on, though. And I've just not seen many genuine links for Mignolet to move on. Who was he linked with a while back? He was linked with somebody a few months back. I can't quite remember who it was now, but he was linked with a move away, but nothing really materialised. I don't even remember hearing us receiving a bid or anything. I want to get the third kit with Larouci on the back, said Mossy Kyo. Why not, mate? Go ahead, pull the trigger. When we had Gerrard, Lonjo and Mascherano, it was the best midfield in the country by miles. Yeah, and don't forget Momo Sissoko as well, because he played a part in that midfield. As we had the best midfield in the world at the time. That's what we used to sing about anyway. Did I have a good holiday? I really did. Thank you, Man United FC. I had a great holiday. Really needed it as well. I didn't realise how much I needed it until I was away and started to relax. What do you think, Manchester United? What do you think, Man United? 1 Red Devils, 2 pukes. Look, obviously I want United to burn and fail miserably this season because I'm a Liverpool fan, but they're looking to still get Maguire done. I mean, is Maguire getting close to putting in a transfer request? I don't know. Apparently, he's starting to try and push that move through. I remember seeing Mark saying that medical might have even been taking place today. He said yesterday that he was told the medical for Maguire would take place on Monday, then that was pushed to maybe Tuesday. I haven't heard anything of him having a medical, but maybe that's happening behind the scenes or something like that. I haven't even heard of a fee being agreed. I don't know if Boye is in the chat. Anthony usually is. If he is, maybe he can give us an insight from a Leicester perspective. Embro said, SpongeBob has looked a good backup for Alisson pre-season. One blip, but many good saves too. To be fair, mate, I said he was other professional last year, and he was very good as a backup to Alisson with regards to the way he carried himself and the way he supported Alisson. But I've seen some shocking stuff from him in pre-season. There has been a couple of decent saves as well, but there's been a few times where I've looked at him in pre-season and just been reminded as to why he quite isn't good enough to be our first choice. But he isn't their first choice, so it's alright. Palace, Callum, I think that was exactly where Mignolet might have been linked to. What's the story with Andy Lonergan? Will he leave after pre-season? Yes, I believe so. I believe he was brought in to provide support for Mignolet in that during the training, and he was sent over to the pre-season training camp as well, I think, just because Creevy Kelleher isn't there, and just to provide, I think, support to the goalkeepers during training. But he won't be signing a contract with the club from what I can gather. Max McGivney said Juventus and Man United agree a swap deal. Have they agreed it? I know it was. We spoke about it at the start of the stream, mate. I don't know if anything has been agreed yet, but yeah, no. Just says talk still. I'm not seeing anything but a deal being agreed. And Pat Moynihan as well, just saying that he thinks that Mignolet was linked with Villa a few weeks back, and somebody else said Palace, or Pat said Palace, sorry, Adam Phillips said Villa. On Villa, actually, I had something on Villa here earlier on. Harry Wilson. So we've been wondering all summer what's going to happen with Ryan Kent and Harry Wilson. Well, Harry Wilson had been linked to Newcastle, but it looks unlikely now that he will join them because Liverpool are unwilling to sanction a loan deal for the player, which means that Aston Villa may well be in pole position to try and sign Harry Wilson. It's believed Liverpool want 15 million rising to 20 million with add-ons, which I think is a reasonable amount of money for a player of his calibre. When you've seen what Manchester United paid for that kid from Swansea, who probably has a similar level of football played or a similar amount of experience, then I think 15 to 20 million for Harvey Wilson, if Liverpool were to sell him, would be a reasonable amount of money. Whether or not we inserted a buyback clause or look to insert a buyback clause in that deal, I don't know. What's everybody else's take on Harvey Wilson? What do you think? I know it divides a lot of Liverpool fans. Some fans think that he could definitely come in and do a job as backup to that front three. I have to say I'm not of that mindset just yet. I think he still has some developing to do. Again, he's got a highlight reel of great goals from last season, but for me it is just that. It's a highlight reel, and I've seen too many times where he's been ineffective in games for Derby County, but he's a developing footballer, so it's tough to say. But one thing I will say is I definitely back Jurgen Klopp's judgment, and whatever Jurgen Klopp decides, again, for me, he's very rarely been proved wrong. There is, though, Alisson gets in the Brazil team over Ederson, case closed. Ederson is shy. That's... Look, I don't know, Brian, mate. That's... He's not shy. I'm sorry, Brian. He just isn't fucking shy. There's no way you can call Ederson shy. The fact that Alisson gets in the Brazil team ahead of him, fair enough, but to call Ederson shy, I think it's just being disingenuous, mate, with all due respect. When do you think... When you think about the rise of Trent Alexander-Arnold, it's been astonishing considering where he was 18 months ago, said Papandu. Yes, I remember having so many conversations about him and Nathaniel Klein, and would Trent be able to push on and really nail down that place? Well, my God, he has, and the assists that himself and Robbo got last year were just unbelievable. Do I watch GAA? Little bits and pieces, mate, but you know, I'm more of a glory hunter when Dublin get to the latter stages of the All-Ireland, if I'm being honest. Papandu said, if just one of the youngsters can do the same, it'll be quite some addition to the squad. And yes, it's very well said, mate. I agree with you. And yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to summarise how I'd feel if we didn't sign anybody in this window. Well, I say anybody else in this window, because I'm very happy with the business we've done with Sepp and Berg and with Harvey Elliott. Look like two really promising young players, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't expecting us to add quality to that forward line and maybe a backup left back during this window. And I know Klopp said Liverpool have to pay their bills, but I don't know, it is frustrating, and I get people that are frustrated, and I get that people are throwing their toys out of the pram, and a lot of overreaction, if I'm being honest. But it's a gamble. It is a gamble from Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool Football Club not to go out in this window and really add strength to that front line, or back up to that front line. Whether it will pay off or not, only time will tell, and maybe there's something in the works for the next transfer window or next season, and where we're going to look back at this and go, well, that's obviously why we didn't pull the trigger on anybody last transfer window or last summer, because we knew that this deal, or the club knew that this deal was in the offing, and hopefully that's the case. And I still believe, no matter what, even going into this season with what we have now, we're going to be challenging right at the top of that league and fighting for the Premier League. We're going to go far in Europe. It will just be again about whether we'll have the strength and depth to go far in the domestic cup competitions as well. Obviously a little bit of disruption with the World Club Championships in December. The Super Cup isn't really too much. It's one game. It's squeezed in before the Norwich game. The Community Shield, don't really give a shit about. If we win it, great. If we don't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Do we feel we'll get new players this late, said George? We took a quick poll on that earlier on, mate, and the majority of Red seem to think that no, we're not going to sign anybody else in the window. I think some of us are still hopeful, but I don't think it's looking very likely at this point. Mignolet should go. Had a poor pre-season really, said Tussie33. Mossy Kyo said, I really want us to go for Etheridge and Matt Target, but we can't get Matt as he went to Aston Villa. Yep, he did. And we were also linked to Ryan Bertrand at one stage, but of the two of them, Matt Target would have made more sense to me. And as you said, rightly said, he went to Aston Villa, so that put an end to that. Sell Kent and keep Wilson, said Nageb. Yeah, I mean, if we were to move one of them on, well, I don't know. I think in pre-season I've been more impressed with Kent actually than Wilson, if the truth be told. I think he's looked a lot more lively and a lot more further along in his development to me than Harry Wilson. But at the same time, to be fair to Ryan Kent, he did come out and say that he's getting fed up of getting loan moves, and if he was to move, he'd like to put down roots and finally start to progress his career. Rangers have made no secret of the fact that they really like to sign Ryan Kent again. Stevie G, Gary Mack have come out and said many times they'd love to have him back at Rangers. Liverpool don't want to loan him. Again, like Wilson, any move would have to be a permanent move. What do you think of Arsenal fans overhyping Pepe by calling him world class? I want to try and be fair to Arsenal fans here because they've been through a shitty time of it in recent times, haven't they? And they weren't expecting much in this window. There was talk of them only having a £45 million to spend or something. And it actually looks like even if they get Tierney and if they sign Pepe, and with the centre-back that they've signed and loaned back who they don't have to pay for till next year, they probably will only end up spending technically 45 million this summer. The rest will have to be paid over the next 5 years, but it's a fan's prerogative to be excited about a new signing and to big up a player. Whether he goes into Arsenal and sets the world on fire is yet to be seen, but I don't ever want to piss all over other fans for being happy about a signing, mate. It's their privilege and their right to be excited about a signing coming in. Calling them world class, it's a term that's thrown around, isn't it? I mean, we had somebody in earlier on, an Everton fan, saying the Salah was shit now. So it just goes to show you can get stupid opinions from both sides, but yeah, I guess the proof will be in the pudding, or the proof of the pudding will be in the eating, I should say, and we'll have to wait and see what Nicolas Pepe does. I mean, if you're asking me what Arsenal needed in this window, defenders, so Tierney would make sense. They need centre-backs. You would add in a couple of midfielders as well. A forward probably wouldn't have been too high up my list if I was Arsenal looking to go out there and recruit. But they went for Zaha. They couldn't quite get the deal over the line. I don't think they could afford the money Palace wanted. The terms for Nicolas Pepe were more favourable, so it looks like they're going to pull the trigger there. Is he world class or not? I guess time will tell. At the moment, I would say no, he isn't world class, but he seems to be quite a promising player by the looks of things. Wilson is better than Kent, in my opinion, said Banter. I get you, mate. I absolutely get you. It is just about opinions, and I don't think either are good enough for Liverpool Football Club, if the truth be told, but of the two, you can make an argument for either one, really. Sell Wilson, not good enough, said Mark Henley. I really think Wilson should stay, said Anthony Cronin. Lee said Mignolet looks like he doesn't want to be in goal every time. I think he wants a move. I think he really does want to move. He was very vocal last summer in saying that he expected a move, and he was a little bit shocked when Loris Karius got the move and he was forced to stay. Will said Solskjaer brought his son on in Man United's pre-season game today. Well, he didn't bring his son on. His son played for the opposing team against Manchester United today, and he actually made a nice last-ditch tackle on Pogba as well. Nearly half of Pepe's goals were penalties. He's not world class, said Yasser. Look, mate, I've been very honest about my viewing of Nicolas Pepe. It's been minimal, so that's why I've kind of been on the fence about him all summer. Ella said Craig, the Dybala swap deal agreed with United for Lukaku. Again, we spoke about it at the start of more and more people are saying it. Dybala and Lukaku swap deal in proposed Sky Sports news, Craig, that's where it's coming from. Yeah, look, I had read on Sky Sports about the deal technically being under consideration, but a lot of you were saying that it's been agreed, which, if you're a Manchester United fan right now, you're looking at that going, yes please. Getting rid of Lukaku, who really had an awful season and his touch was shocking, to bring in Dybala, who still has some proving to do. If you're a United fan, you've got to be happy about that one, surely. Wilson looked a lot more confident when he came on against Napoli and looked dangerous, said Craig Adams 667. Craig, you're really balanced. It's hard to be a troll, just bored, so joking and stuff. It's alright, mate. It's all just banter on here from time to time, and I try to be balanced, Bob, in what I do. I try to give an honest opinion on things. And look, from a Liverpool perspective, obviously I'm going to have banter with an Everton fan, but it's all good humoured stuff, mate, and you haven't been at all abusive towards us, so you're welcome in here anytime, pal. It is just all a bit of fun. Wilson's better, said LFC 1892, but I doubt either of them are good enough. Gerard McCauley said Sky now reporting swap deal between United Juve for Lukaku and Dybala agreed in principle. It's a good deal for United, I have to say. That's a good deal for United. The They thought they might have been getting rid of Lukaku to Inter. Inter couldn't quite come up with the money that made United happy, and now it seems like they're going to get the Dybala, which if you're a United fan right now, you've got to be happy with that. And obviously as a Liverpool fan, I don't want United fans being in the slightest bit happy. Just looking through my notes. Spoke about the Harvey Elliott thing. Spoke about the WONDERKID. Oh yes, we spoke last night about the trademark that Liverpool have applied for trademarking the term Liverpool with regards to any football context. The Echo have posted that Sam Cunningham claims Liverpool tried to trademark Allez, Allez, Allez. The chant was a staple of the run to the Champions League final in both 2018 and 2019. Cunningham believes that Liverpool filed an application with the Intellectual Property Office to trademark the words Allez, Allez, Allez in November of last year, only to eventually withdraw it. And that is, again, all kinds of wrong. I have to say, trying to trademark a phrase that or a song, Allez, 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 it's not a fucking Liverpool song. We nicked it, if we're being really honest about it. It comes somewhere from the continent. I don't know if it started in Portugal or Spain or where the song originated, but for Liverpool again to try and fucking copyright the phrase Allez, Allez, Allez. Now I know they withdrew it at the end, and I'm a Liverpool fan like everybody else, but I'm not going to just sit back when I see something that I don't agree with and go, oh well, that's great, because it isn't. It's horseshit. They shouldn't be looking to trademark Allez, 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 and they shouldn't be looking to fucking trademark the phrase Liverpool with regards to any footballing context, because as I said last night, there's loads of amazing boutique, shall we say, purveyors or sellers of Liverpool merchandise, and we're talking Love Follow Conquer, we're talking Love Follow Conquer, we're talking so many fucking great sites, a hat, scarf and a badge, I mean Blood Husky clothing or Blood Husky, just fucking so many, and my memory's shite that I'm forgetting them, but to try and or even look at trademarking Allez, 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 again, it just goes to show the Liverpool fans and the cop and whoever came up with the song had the foresight to bring it into the club and caught on with the fan base and went into all the forums and the away fans. I think Porto was the first time I remember hearing us singing that song, really. And then Liverpool looked to go and coin the fucking phrase. It doesn't sit well whatsoever. Whether they pulled out of it in the end, that's great, but it still shows that there was fucking greed there. There was greed. Whatever they talk about Liverpool and trying to protect against moody or fake hits from abroad, to try and trademark Allez, 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 it's just shitty. And I don't care. I'm a Liverpool fan. I love the club with all my heart. But that is shitty. That is just not right. And they pulled out of it, whatever. But I've seen so many great clothing lines, t-shirts, hats, banners, everything with Allez, Allez, Allez on it. And for the club to try and trademark that would have been just too low for me. Any news on a forward, said Seamus Smith. Nah, nothing, pal. Unfortunately, nothing really. We spoke about the Real Madrid kid, the so-called wonder kid. What's his name? Where's it gone? Israel Salazar, who we've apparently been linked to according to Burnabout Digital. 16-year-old forward, and apparently he's turned down 50 other clubs. Kieran Aaron said that's embarrassing from the club's point. It is. It's fucking shocking, mate. It's a long list of trademarks, said Jay Kismet. Like, Allez, Allez, Allez. Like, Liverpool, I don't agree with it that they're looking to trademark that or copyright it, but at least there's some rhyme or reason to it. But to actually try and trademark or look at trademarking or copyrighting Allez, 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 it's just a fucking money grab. There's no other way around it than that. It's a money grab. It's something that was started by the fans, not the club. And it was adopted by the fans. And then the club, of course, jumped on the bandwagon when the fans, like the amazing banners and stuff that are up on the Kop. Do you remember a couple of seasons back, they tried to make it even harder for those guys to be able to get those banners on. And they wanted them to have some type of credentials for the banners. I mean, they're happy to sell the image of the Kop around the world, and they're happy to sell the brilliance of Liverpool fans and how unique they are. And then they do these kind of things from time to time, and it just reminds you that for all the great things that FSG have done at this football club, they have had some real fuck-ups as well along the way. And I'm on the fence with FSG. I think they've done more good than harm, but some of these things are just silly. Like, it's like they want the best of Liverpool's fans, but then again, how dare anybody else make any money from it? If they're not making all the money, then fuck you, basically, seems to be the way this is going. And I know they said that Liverpool, they won't go after the small manufacturers, and they won't go after the City of Liverpool FC and all that kind of stuff. But as I said last night, that only stands when FSG are owners. What if FSG got the trademark on Liverpool or the copyright in Liverpool from a footballing context? They sell the club in 5 years' time. New owners come in, and they're absolute dickheads who just want to cream money from the club and go after the small retailer and go after anybody using Liverpool. It's all right FSG saying one thing, but to then go 5, 6, 7 years down the line, we don't know what the future might hold. So I fully agree with Love Follow Conquer. I fully agree with City of Liverpool FC. I fully agree with Hat, Scarf and a Badge, who are worried about these things, and I back those guys to the hilt, because they all produce some of the most unique and fantastic merchandise that I've seen, stuff that the club should be jumping all over and working with them on, rather than trying to fight with them a bit. And I know they keep saying the right things, the club, that they're not going to go after the smaller businesses, but them smaller businesses are worried, and we need to support them, because like Fran as well, Terrace Ultra, sorry, I keep forgetting about Fran and the amazing t-shirts that Fran makes. Yasser said Eric Bailly is out for 5 months. Something sounds fishy there. He just slipped or fell. Apparently the United have said he underwent an operation and will be out for the 5 months, which he was linked with a move away as well, wasn't he, Eric Bailly? I remember seeing him linked somewhere. Anne Meadow said, Craig, if that was going to happen, it would have by now with Timo Werner. I really think Klopp does not think he's got the right attitude. Apparently, Anne, what I read was that the reason we didn't go after Timo Werner was because they didn't want to block the pathway through for Ryan Brewster, and they wanted to show Ryan Brewster how much they believed in him, and they worked really hard to get Ryan Brewster to sign that professional contract with the club when he was being chased by clubs all around Europe. Kieran Aaron said the club's usually amazing with working with the fans, but from time to time they make some massive fuck ups which makes us question their greed and why they're Liverpool owners. Yeah, I mean, no owners are ever going to be absolutely perfect, and as I said, FSG have done many, many good things for this football club. They've given us Jurgen Klopp, they've delivered us players, they've delivered us a Champions League, they've delivered us a new main stand, they've sanctioned the building of a new £50 million training facility, they've improved the area around Anfield, they've done lots of really good stuff. I am absolutely not an FSG hater. In fact, I think that there's many, 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 many worse owners, and I'm quite happy with having FSG as owners of the football club. But that doesn't mean that I think they're infallible and they can't be criticised from time to time with good reason. V for Vegdetta said, call capitalism, Craig. I get you, mate. I absolutely get you, but it does seem that they're happy to play on the romance of Liverpool and the Kop when it suits them, and they're happy to sell that image of the Kop around the world, and then at the same time seems to be looking like they're trying to slap these people in the face as well. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 0. Liverpool Football Club looking ahead to the Super Cup next week. Football is big business, hence why America and the Middle East are all involved with it, marketing everything possible to earn that money. Yes, and look, I think the way FSG are doing things from our perspective with regards to how they're going to make a profit in the long run, I've no issue with that at all. I mean, they came in, they bought the club for 280, 300 million, whatever it was at the time. They've increased the value of the club by some of it being luck, just that the Premier League, the TV rights have gone up, and that's increased the value of all clubs. They've also been quite clever. They've brought in great structure with regards to the commercial arm of the club. They've brought in lots of sponsorship, lots of extra revenue. As I said, Jurgen Klopp, players, fantastic people to work at the club, Michael Edwards, Hogan. They've brought in great people, and if they sell the club for a massive profit down the line, I don't begrudge them a penny of it, because they haven't been owners that have come in and leveraged the club to buy it, taken massive amounts of money out of the club and stopped us being able to spend. So I don't want this to look like I'm having a go at FSG just for the sake of it, because I really amn't. I think they're fine owners, and they're very sensible owners, but as we all said, there has been some stupid shit as well at times. I'm worried about our injury suspects. You know who they are, said Mr. Steamer. I think you're probably talking about Adam Lallana there, mate, anyway, to start with. Money will take over football one day, said Gaming Guy. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because what way do you look at it? Like, if you're paying top dollar and you're being forced to pay really, really expensive money to go and watch football clubs these days. Is it entertainment? Is it sport? For us as fans, we view it as a sport, but at the same time, if you're paying so much money, and I looked into some of the hospitality packages for this year as well, and quite frankly, they're ridiculous, the price of them. If you're paying so much money, we've got our television subscriptions and all on top of that, you do have a right to be entertained as well. But first and foremost, football to me is why I fell in love with it as a sport. They can copyright it as long as the fans own it. Everything is okay, said Peter Bryan. It's okay, mate, until somebody starts selling a flag with LA on it, as an example, and the club go, we want that money, please. Hello, Dara. How are you, mate? Welcome. I'm proud of this club. Can be a hard thing to take, said Liverpool Football Club. I think we'll beat Chelsea 4-0 in the Super Cup. That's just my opinion, said Anthony Cronin. If you look at the way FSG run the baseball team, they like to develop players from within and only buy when they have to. I'm absolutely not going to even try and talk about the Boston Red Sox because I know nothing about baseball, mate. What I will say is, though, and I don't think this is a criticism of FSG, but the Red Sox are their first love because they're Bostonians. They grew up being Red Sox fans. That's okay. Where I do draw the line is people thinking that the money crosses over and they're spending Liverpool money over in Boston. That simply isn't the case. The two clubs are run entirely as separate entities, and it was a very good year. I mean, they won the World Series and they won the Champions League with their two sports clubs in one season, which is brilliant for them. But I think if we're being bluntly honest about it, we would say that their first love is the Boston Red Sox because they are Bostonians, and that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that as long as they keep running Liverpool Football Club in a correct manner. Seamus Smith said, think were we to lose to City, they still have Sterling, Sané, but think we'll win the Super Cup as Salah and Firmino are back. I wonder what will happen with Leroy Sané though. Does anybody think that he will make that move to Bayern Munich? Because I'm praying that he does, obviously, because having Leroy Sané to come off the bench in the Premier League is a great weapon to have. Dara said, did I watch the White versus Rivas fight? I did indeed, mate. I was very impressed with David Price as well on the undercard. I always expect him to beat Dave Allen, but it was a very good performance from Pricey. Then obviously the stuff about Dillian White, there was rumours that he failed a UK anti-doping agency drugs test for performance enhancing drugs. Now White has come out and said that's complete horseshit and that his solicitors are on it, and Eddie Hearn came out and said that he was cleared to fight. And the WBC have asked that if there is any information, that they haven't been sent any yet, and they've been asked that, but they've asked the UK anti-doping agency to send them any information if there is on that one. I got a hospitality package in a Vietnamese hotel for a very small amount of dollars, said Mr. Steamer. Come on, I hope you enjoyed yourself. I've no doubt you did, sir. Time to sign a last minute Edwards special, said Eric Worry. I mean, I think there's a lot of us praying for that last minute special. Gob said, Coutinho, welcome to Liverpool. It looks, mate, that he's going to stay at Barcelona this summer. It seems PSG have lowered their valuation for Neymar down to £165 million, according to reports today. But even at that, it doesn't seem like Barcelona can afford to bring Neymar in. And the key seemed to be Coutinho. If Coutinho had have wanted to go to PSG, apparently there could have been something to be done there. But it seems as if he might be digging his heels in a little bit. And as things stand, he hasn't really shown any interest to join PSG. In fact, we know that he's turned down PSG when he was a Liverpool player on numerous occasions. Call Me Rizzy said, your thoughts on United's transfer rumours and Keane to Everton? Well, the Keane to Everton thing I touched on a little bit earlier on, mate. It's a good signing for Everton, but it's also a precarious signing because Juventus, if rumours are to be believed, will have a buyback clause inserted into that deal. So if he comes to the Premier League and does well, they could just trigger that release clause or that buyback clause and take him back from Everton. So I wouldn't be happy if it was us doing it that way and we were bringing in a player that could be pulled away from us again. United's transfer rumours, look, they had to go out and spend big in this window. As of yet, they haven't signed Harry Maguire, although it looks likely that they will. Fernandes still up in the air. The Dybala thing will be a good piece of business for United. I'm not going to lie. If they get the Dybala and get rid of Lukaku in one move, I think if you're a United fan, you're very happy. Daniel James looks like a decent young player, but still a lot to prove. Although I don't like to be critical of any young footballers, because if he's willing to make the move to Manchester United, he obviously backs himself, and that's what you want to see. Longstaff doesn't look like they're going to get from Newcastle. Steve Bruce has said that he isn't for sale. Am I forgetting anybody else that United have signed in this window? If I am, then just let me know. But I think they still need a couple of players in, and even at that, I think it'll be difficult for them to get top four this season. But it's not out of the question if they get a good start and the team starts to gel quickly. My main worry for United, if I'm a United fan, which thank fuck I amn't, will be the manager. I've said it time and time again. I just don't think Solskjaer is good enough. He's not proven enough at the top level, and to be managing a club the size of Manchester United, you can say he knows the United way, he was a United player, he's a fan favourite, I get all of that, but at the same time, you need a steady hand to guide that club right now, and I just don't know if Solskjaer is that player or that manager. But I also don't give a fuck really, because I want United to crash and burn as always. Anthony Cronin said, are Wilder and Fury fighting again? It looks like Deontay Wilder is supposed to be fighting what's the old lad's name again that he beat before? God, why is my mind gone blank on this? What's his name? Fucking King Kong, blah blah, whatever his name is. The old lad that he beat before. It looks like he's going to fight him again, and then he's going to fight Fury after that. Then of course Dillian White would have that mandatory title challenge. But will the WBC then promote Fury, or not Fury, Wilder to what's it called, franchise champion or something like that, which is this new bullshit thing they made up recently. What's your man's name again? How can I not remember it right now? The guy Wilder beat already. What's his name? Somebody will help me on this one. Yeah, Luis Ortiz, that's the fella. Yeah, it looks like he'll fight him again, then he'll fight Fury, and then the winner of that will probably have to fight Dillian White, unless they bring in that, as I said, franchise champion bollocks that they've tried to do already. United are bonkers for not triggering Toby Alderweireld's 25 million release clause, or any other team for that matter, said Alan Philipp. Yeah, that and for those of you that don't know, by the way, that release clause excuse me, is now gone. It doesn't exist anymore. I think it was the 26th of July that clause ran out, so nobody triggered that. 25 million for Alderweireld. It seems like a decent price to get a few years of a decent central defender. Yard versus Kovalev. You'd have to make Kovalev favourite for that, particularly if it's in Russia. Like Brian Morris said, their first refusal. Everton have the option to sell to anyone. Juve just get a heads up. Not what I read, mate. I read that they have a buyback clause that they're going to try, not a refusal, an actual clause that they can trigger for X amount of money. But again, I'm just saying that's what I read, mate. I don't know the ins and outs of the contract. How about Eriksen? I wouldn't mind Christian Eriksen at Liverpool at all, mate. Not at all. Again, we know they've been linked to Real Madrid. Real Madrid want Paul Pogba. There's no secret about that. They've signed Eden Hazard. So will Christian Eriksen have many other offers? Apparently, he turned down the overtures of Manchester United. He's got 1 year left. Daniel Levy won't want to lose Christian Eriksen on a free transfer next summer. So maybe they're close to agreeing an extension. I don't know. But yes, I would absolutely take him at Liverpool. Morton Dam said, I hope United land their targets and overprice, ruin them like they do every other player they sign, and get in FFP trouble. One thing about Manchester United, mate, is they are a fucking money making machine, and it kills me to say it, and they have wasted an awful lot of money on wages and overpriced players, but they are one of the richest, I think the richest or the second wealthiest club in the world. So I don't know if they're in any FFP danger, if the truth be told. But like you, I hope that they all fail miserably. I think the cry that beat Tony Bellew, called Usyk wants to fight Anthony Joshua. Yes, so the situation there is Usyk moved up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, and he then automatically, is it the WBO? I think it's a WBO. He becomes, when you're a champion with the WBO and you move up a weight division, you automatically become mandatory challenger in that heavier weight division. I think it's a WBO, could be the WBA, but anyway, one of them. So he will be mandatory to fight whoever has Joshua's belts. Now, at the moment, they're Ruiz's belts, they're not Joshua's belts, but if Joshua beats Ruiz in a rematch, then Usyk, I think it's in March of next year, the Eddie Hearn said that mandatory title defense would be called. So yeah, Usyk Joshua will be a very interesting fight. Usyk was supposed to fight Carlos Takam, but had to pull out with an injury. But it looks like he will fight Carlos Takam again. It'll be interesting to see how Usyk settles into the heavyweight division. Actually, he is an outstanding fighter. Strokes82 said, seeing the Abala signed for Man United is going to piss me right off with none of our signings. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, mate. It's it won't. I've said previously that I wouldn't have minded him at Liverpool, so I can come out and change my mind and look like an absolute fucking hypocrite. I will look at that as them strengthening by getting rid of Lukaku and bringing in the Abala. I still don't think that they're going to be in the conversation challenging at the top of the league, no matter what they do between now and the end of the window. So I don't see that. I still see it being Liverpool and Manchester City challenging for that Premier League. But yeah, I don't want to see United strengthened like anybody else. Kieran Aaron said, surely Eriksen is staying at Spurs. Can't see why Levy is letting him stay with only a year left. Yeah, and maybe they're just going to offer him a good wage and hope for the best. But if he does go on a free, that would be a massive kick in the nuts for Spurs, I have to say. If I could sign one midfielder, who would I sign and why? I've said all along that my dream signing for Liverpool would have always been Marco Verratti, because I think he's just, if he can stay fit, he's almost a complete midfielder. I love the guy as a footballer. So I would probably say Verratti. But again, his fitness has been an issue. But on form, I love Marco Verratti, and I've always kind of imagined him in a Liverpool shirt. Always sceptical of our chances of buying top players at other English clubs, said LFC 8092. Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes you do see moves happen, like Chelsea to United and stuff like that. Moves do happen, but Spurs probably view themselves now as, and maybe rightly so, as genuine competitors for Liverpool. I mean, they got to a Champions League final, qualified again for the Champions League next season. Have added a little bit of squad depth this summer. Pochettino's been able to spend some money for the first time in a while. They brought in Ndombele. Yeah, I mean, if you're Daniel Levy, you don't want to go then and strengthen Liverpool, who you will look at as a genuine rival. We need to expand Anfield to compete financially with Manchester United, said Barney Pauls. We've been playing catch-up for a very, very, very long time with United, and we've made some great strides in that, but we're still quite a bit behind. But we're doing well. We've been much cleverer than Manchester United in the way we've gone about business as well. John Cable said, breaking news, the WBC have suspended Dillian White as mandatory and interim. And I've just seen that yoke flash up on Sky now as well about Juve and United agreeing a Dybala swap deal in principle. I'm just trying to find the news on. I'm not seeing that on Sky yet about the WBC, mate, but I know you like your boxing, John, so thank you for letting me know about that. We need to expand Anfield. We've done that one. Usyk will be the one to beat all the other top four heavyweights at Kieran Aaron. It's very intriguing, mate, to see how he does settle into the heavyweight division without a shadow of a doubt. He is a quality operator. Absolutely cleaned up a cruiserweight. Beat everybody. Hook. Press. Is it Bradis? Beat Tony Bellew as well. And yeah, I'm very interested to see how he gets on a heavyweight. Sanchez and Mata for next season's Ballon d'Or is what's that, 1 million to 1? Should have 10p on it or buy a lollipop. Definitely buy a lollipop, mate. You'll get much more enjoyment out of that lollipop. Am I doing a watch along tomorrow? I absolutely am, everybody. Yes, we will be starting from about 20 minutes before kickoff tomorrow, so about 5:40 p.m. UK time for that one. I hope you can join us. Liverpool's last pre-season game against Lyon in Switzerland. We're all hoping for a bit of a better performance and to send us into that Community Shield the weekend against Manchester City on a bit of a high. Morton said United have a massive turnover, but they also have huge expenses already, Craig. If they back Ole, will they get this summer? Then he fears that they cannot back a new manager next summer. Yeah, and there's also, from my vague understanding of how the Glazers took over at Manchester United, it was a leveraged buyout, so they have pretty high repayments to make as well. And of course, with Manchester United being a publicly traded company, I think they have to pay out dividends to their shareholders as well every year. So yeah, there definitely isn't as much free cash as there could be at United. Brian Morris, he said, read earlier somewhere that Everton had got the buyback removed. Just the one story I saw. Exactly. But Brian, yeah, as you said, mate, you could very well be right on this. I could be completely wrong. We've just read two different things on it, mate. And I suppose until the deal is done, maybe we'll find out what actually is the situation. What qualifies for FFP in layman's terms, mate? The honest answer right now, mate, is I would have to go and do some research on it. Basically, you can only lose, is it 30 million quid over the course of 3 seasons or something like that. There are going to be people who can explain the ins and outs of FFP so much better than me, mate. And if you want me to do a bit on it at one point, I will research and I will come back, but I don't want to give out false information. So I'd rather just say I don't know the exact ins and outs of it at this moment in time. Maybe somebody in the chat can give you a link that could explain it better to you, but I'd rather say nothing than knowingly give out wrong information. If Juventus swap Dybala for Lukaku, it would probably be the worst business of the past few years. That being said, Lukaku would fit in the Italian league. Just don't want Man United benefiting. I hear you, Levi. I'm with you, pal. Again, just to let everybody know, we are running a competition to give away a brand new Liverpool home shirt. So if you want to be entered into that competition, please do go over to the Anfield Agenda Twitter account and check it out. All you have to do is look at our pinned tweet. With thanks to footy.com, we're giving away a Liverpool home shirt to one lucky subscriber. Go over there, retweet the pinned tweet, follow ourselves, follow footy.com, and yeah, that's it. We're giving it away on August the 9th, so get over there and check that out. That would be great, mate. Cheers. I get a headache reading it. No problem, buddy. I just want to make sure I do the research properly before I come on and talk about it. Ladies and gents, as always, we're heading towards the end of tonight's stream. Maybe around 10 minutes to go. If there's anything else you want to talk about or put into the chat, please do so. And also, if you've enjoyed tonight's stream, please do remember to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give us a thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to just check my notes to see if there's anything else I've missed. Oh yes, Hull City are hoping to sign Liverpool's 20-year-old midfielder Harvey Kane on loan for the season. Kane worked with Hull's manager Grant McCann last season when he was manager of Doncaster Rovers. So it'll be interesting to see if that deal takes place. Something else that the FA are looking to introduce, actually, or they are introducing, I don't know if you guys have read about this, but the FA will introduce sin bins across all levels of grassroots football for the 2019-2020 season. It will allow referees to remove a player for 10 minutes after a test phase has shown a 38% drop in dissent. The mandatory rule change will be implemented up to Step 5 of the National League system and Tier 3 and below in women's football. Players who show dissent will be shown a yellow card while the referee points to the touchline to indicate that a player has been sent to the sin bin. 2 such temporary dismissals will result in the player being sent off. So interesting stuff. I mean, obviously just trying to get younger players and players lower down the leagues to start showing more respect to referees, and it is one thing I've always thought football was a little bit lacking in. You watch rugby as an example, and from a very, very, very young age, the kids are taught to respect the referee even if they don't agree with the referee's decisions, and I think that is something that we could learn in football. There's far too much people getting in the referees' faces and the referees not just doing anything about it. So it's not coming into the top level of football, but I think grassroots football, underage levels, I think this is a good idea. Ronald Rees said the question was asked which manager will be sacked first next season, and Ronald thinks it will be Frank Lampard. Interesting. I wonder how much good grace Lampard will get there if he doesn't hit the ground running. I mean, they can hide behind the fact that he hasn't been able to do anything in the transfer window because of the ban, and maybe that will buy him an extra bit of good grace with the Chelsea fans. I don't know. What else we got? Yes. I've been advocating a sin bin in football for years. Too many silly, stupid yellow cards now, said Embro. It'll kind of be the same thing, mate. I mean, it seems to be that the sin bin will be a yellow card and then 10 minutes on the side of the pitch, and a second sin binning would result in a red card. So I don't think it would remove the yellow card thing. And again, it is just in up to tier 5 of National League system and in tier 3 and below in women's football. Stephen Booker reckons that Stevie Bruce will be the first one sacked. That wouldn't be a great look for Mike Ashley again, would it? Happily Eggs reckons that Frank Lampard has a free pass because of the transfer ban. I don't know. I'm very intrigued to see what happens with Lampard. I really am. There's been a bit of a trend lately in bringing back former players as managers. Obviously, United brought back Solskjaer. Chelsea bring in Frank Lampard. Real Madrid have gone and brought back in Zinedine Zidane. We should look at Alfie Mawson, said Nagabe. We don't need a centre-back, mate. I don't think we need to go and look at anybody. That's just my opinion, though. Sorry, mate. I don't mean to be ramming my opinion down your throat. So fucking worried about the Dybala. He has countless times he wants to stay. Why are we selling him? Said Roberto, who is, of course, a Juventus fan. I'm as baffled as you, Roberto, mate. I mean, obviously I'm not as invested in this as you are because you're a Juventus fan, but it seems like a strange piece of business to me. And again, even at that, I have heard saying to you that Dybala would rather stay, but maybe if he gets offered enough wage to go to United, then he'll drop down and play in the Europa League. What's this? Stephen Booker said, Craig, he won't get any grace as soon as the results go wrong. Chelsea fans are toxic. Conte, Ancelotti, Benitez all won trophies and they wanted them out. Unfortunately, Lampard will be no different. I think you're probably right, Stephen. I think you're probably right, mate. They are a club that has turned over more managers than any other top level club I can think of, but they've also had success in doing that, so it is an odd little ecosystem that they have there at Chelsea. And Meadow said, check out Morelos from Rangers. Stats are up there with the world's best. They won Kent. He's a striker. He's a fucking lunatic though as well, Anne. I mean, Jesus, he's got so... I mean, I'm not disagreeing with his quality. I don't know if he can make the step up to the very, very top level, but the man gets more yellow and red cards for the most stupid things, so he needs to get that under control for a start. When Ronaldo arrived, the Dybala's days were numbered, said Eric Worry. Yes, there's always been some rumours, hasn't there, since Ronaldo arrived, that either they hadn't seen eye to eye or they just weren't clicking. Love Bale's statement that he would be at Real longer than Zidane, said Craig Adams. Yeah, I think Real Madrid's treatment of Bale has been shocking, to be fair. I think he deserves better than that. Ollie gone by December, said Tom Boland. Potter by January the 1st, and Bruce the first managers to be sacked. Levi Monaghan said Chelsea will wait at least a season before making a decision on Lampard, give him at least one transfer window. Easy Scotty said, Craig, I personally think he's got anger issues, Morelos. He some players need that little streak in them, like Wayne Rooney, for example, Steven Gerrard. They're players that sometimes play their best when they are right on the edge, but Morelos doesn't seem to know where the edge is at times and just goes completely over it. Brian, catch up with you real soon, buddy. Real Madrid treat all their players like trash, said Sean McDonald. Well, look, I suppose case in point, Sean, is they signed Eden Hazard and the fans were singing on his unveiling day, we want Mbappe, we want Mbappe, which I'm sure would have filled Eden Hazard full of the fucking joys of spring. I think this year, by Xmas, more managers will be sacked than any previous year, said Eric Worry. Florence Mark said, hope you had a good holiday. Mine was brilliant in Italy home yesterday. Glad to hear you had a good time, Florence, and like yourself, I had a very good holiday. Much needed, but it was very good indeed. Craig wrote earlier, did you hear that Ryan Kent had deleted all mention of Liverpool from his Twitter account? I have not, mate. No, I have not. But I expect him and Wilson to probably move on this summer. But no, is that confirmed? Can anybody else back up what he's saying there? No, I'm not calling you a liar, mate, but sometimes I've heard this before and it just hasn't been true, or they never had it in their bio in the first place. Okay, anything else you guys want to chat about before we finish up? I've talked about Harry Wilson. Shouldn't that? Just going through my notes just to see if I've forgotten anything. Again, a reminder, 5:40 p.m. tomorrow we'll be going live for the Watchalong. We don't schedule Watchalongs anymore. We stopped that last season, so we just go live because what had happened was when we were scheduling them, we were getting copyright strikes for absolutely no reason. So now we just go live, and just to let you guys know, 5:40 p.m. tomorrow we will be going live for the Lyon game, and I hope you can join us for that one. I'm really looking forward to getting back stuck into doing a bit of commentating and watching the Reds, because that's what we're all here for, really, isn't it? I mean, it's been a hard out summer at times. I've had great fun and I really love chatting to you all, and I've loved the support you've given the channel, but it's about football, isn't it? And we're here to watch the Reds, so whenever they're in action, I think we're all feeling a little bit better about life. Score predictions for tomorrow, said Liz. I think we have to sign off with a win. Let's say 2-1 to Liverpool. Let's go with that one tomorrow. Balin's a Dan saga to continue for another year, said Yasser, like Pogba. You read it on the Reds live app. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you letting us know. Maybe that does signal that something's in the works for Ryan Kent. 3-0 to Liverpool, said Happily Eggs tomorrow. Liverpool Football Club's gone 2-0. Stephen Booker's gone 2-0 to Liverpool. And Everton fans to be searching for the light bulb. Raid Magan said Dybala to United made me sick. Not gonna lie, mate, it shocked me as well when I'd seen that it might happen, or it looks like it's going to happen now. Callum goes 3-1 to Liverpool, Salah 2 and Fabinho 1. Florence Marks 3-1 to the Reds. Nageb's gone 3-0 to the Reds. Nice. I like the confidence. I like that we're all expecting Liverpool to sign off with a win in pre-season. We started it with a win, so why not sign off with a win? Look, ladies and gentlemen, as always, it is an absolute pleasure. I'm so happy to be back, but I'm even more happy that we're getting close to the start of the season. So I hope you can join us tomorrow for the watch along of the Lyon game. As always, thank you so much for your time. It is a pleasure to come on and chat with Reds from all around the world. Do hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up, please, if you haven't done so before you head off. Until tomorrow, take care of your families, tell your loved ones that you love them, and up the motherfucking Reds. I love you all.